Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is Wednesday, October 24th. In case people aren't watching this live, which is a good chance, it's about 9:40 in the morning, which is definitely a different time to stream for me. Basically what it's going to boil down to, if my sleep schedule as of yesterday was of any way to guess, I was probably going to sleep right through any kind of 4 or 5 o'clock stream time this evening. So if there's going to be any stream that gets done, I kind of need to do it while I'm awake now. Ideally, maybe this will keep me busy and get me a little bit more amped up on adrenaline so that I stay awake all the way to a reasonable 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening, getting a sleep schedule back to something realistic, something where I could fix this. Otherwise, this may just be the winter time slot. It's questionable, certainly, whether a lot of people, apparently we have a new update, or that just wanted to do that for no reason. Yeah, I doubt very many people are going to be watching Hearthstone on YouTube live streaming in the morning, but I never really get a great feeling of that. Like, I don't know where my fan base is. I don't know if they are students or employees who can watch video while in school or at work, where that might make sense. Like, you would think that wouldn't be the case. Certainly, though, you would definitely pull more for an idea of something else, you know, just like the idea of going at 3, 4, 5 in the evening when people are off of work or off of school, and watching things. Inherently, and this is part of the problem with the premieres, I guess I'm gonna get rid of the rogue cards, but it's probably a mistake. 2 games of any class, no reroll for these 3. But see, that's not like a free entry. It just made that sound for kind of no reason. Yeah, it didn't change the arena run. There's no special single player experience. This will be back in an hour, so we may have to come back and do the tavern brawls in an hour after the stream. Which probably means the other tavern brawls are going to be even later. So let's just focus on secrets, which we can do Secret Hunter, and we can try to play some taunts. Although this is Spell Hunter, which, okay, whatever. I think Spell Hunter actually was a pretty good winner, so we might get on a win streak and get back up to rank 17. Of course, also streaming right now means that there will be slightly less news. Shouldn't really change too much there. Yeah, but what a, like the premiere's idea of trying to premiere videos and then having the content creator, in this case me, watch those videos when they premiered and chat alongside other people watching, seems really, really silly. It just doesn't seem like a lot of content creators are going to do that. That being said, I think I will probably try to take advantage of the premiere a little bit. I'm not 100% sure, though, how much. Like, if I premiere every single episode of every single show, that tells people when videos are coming out at a certain point, it probably will also flood people's notifications like crazy. It does let people create appointment television and say, hey, I actually do want to watch this series. But I think if there's one thing good you can say about my YouTube channel is that 99.99% of the time everything is very obvious as far as when the release times are. I keep the same time slots completely, so it would probably be better, instead of doing the premiere feature, to just have a program guide be auto-generated for all YouTube content creators. Oh, darn it. Yeah, that would be a lot more helpful, is if you just automatically by default could go into a new tab and say, here's all the videos that are coming up that we already know are scheduled, so there's no big issue there. Let's do this and this. And do this and end the turn. See, this should play on the 7th turn and fill my hands with spells, actually. Otherwise, I'm still getting work done. It's slow processes. I'm doing 3 hours at least per every letter of the alphabet, so 3 times 27 is, let's see, 74 hours at least of content is getting made for the end of the year. What would I call it? It's the end of the year Steam wishlist cleanup. The Steam wishlist is a huge mess. I've made it a huge mess. Good thing I realized this problem and addressed it this year, because if I tried to do this, say, next year and had just continued to put every game I was looking at on Steam into the wishlist, it would have just been even longer. I'm still having a lot of problems, to be honest, about making decisions and just deciding what games stay and what games go. I kind of wish that there was an ability to what am I trying to say? I wish there was an ability to sort your wish list by genre, because at that point I could go through the wish list in a second pass and just say, look, all of these games that are RPGs are in the wish list. I need to decide what of these games actually am I going to play and what other ones am I not, or can I realistically expect to play in my lifetime, or actually want to play in my lifetime. Alright, so play this now. And then I'm just full of spells.
Job's done.
So I finished G. G was a little bit of a weird one because, well, although I did start with Galgun and Galgun Double Piece and Galgun 2, which I don't think there was a Galgun before Double Piece, so that's a lot. It's kind of a confusing naming system. See, all minions with stealth destroy all enemies, sequence draw a card. Let's see, freezing trap. Deal 2 damage and 1 to the opposite. I think I'd prefer to do that. Go ahead and kill this. And I'll kill that. And keep on attacking.
I hunt alone.
There we go. It'd be nice if this card had a death rattle where it returned to your hand. So yeah, I'm going through the wish list, adding a lot of things to the follow list, making some small decisions. I determined that it would be wise to take all of the Ghostbuster games off of my wish list because oddly, like the only Ghostbuster games that are even left are the bad ones. The one Ghostbuster game I did cover is not available for sale. Also, Sanctuary of Slime is not available for sale, but that's not a real big issue. So all you're left with is some very negatively reviewed games. Freezing Trap. Why did the Freezing Trap kill it? Because his hand was full. I bet. That feels like a new animation. See, what sucks about this too is that he very possibly could still get a one-turn kill. Let's see. This and this and this. And that. There you go. There, I suppose, is not a lot to say when you're just going through the wish list. A lot of it's really the perfect opportunity when I'm covering games to talk about games, see a lot of different games, at least small mentions of them. I spent a lot of time sitting on the screen for Genital Jousting talking about something else, which I'm sure was awkward. So that was Play 6 Secrets, but it's not going to be Play any Taunt classes, but I kind of want to ride out the victory. I'm going to have to decide if there is anything that has Taunt. Let's try Quest Warrior. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to just go on rants if I'm not careful, but then the entirety of the videos are extremely long, so I can't really afford time-wise to do that. And I sure hope that this might interest some new people in actually watching those videos, because if nobody wants to watch the end of the year cleanup videos, you pretty much are not getting anything in December. You're kind of lucky on my channel to even get anything in November.
Job's done.
Which I still haven't scheduled all of that, so I'm behind on scheduling things too. But yeah, as far as December, it's going to be end of the year cleanup videos, some other end of the year games, some other end of the year videos, the completion of the Boomsday Puzzle solution videos, and Hearthstone and Borderlands 2. And that's it. Like, I suppose maybe this is a gentle nudge from me to tell people to spend your Christmas holiday time on other things. I guess it's probably not a terrible time also to slightly lower the amount of output, but I don't know really. might be an absolutely terrible time, because there might be a lot of people out there that really come to appreciate having something else to do or to watch that isn't inherently built around incredibly annoying, repetitive holiday stuff, which, like, it certainly in December can get way too much Christmassy sometimes. And if you, like, everything on TV, everything on the radio, everything online is Christmas themed, whereas pretty much can't do that with video games. Although one of the games that I did cover under the G's on my wish list is, I believe, called Gray Matter, but that it could be called something else, which is a horror game centered around a priest who's accused of abusing a boy. I'm not even sure if he physically or sexually or what abuses him. And it has some Christmassy themed scenes in the screenshots. So I was thinking to myself, yeah, I really couldn't cover that game in December. People would be upset with me.
Thank you.
I was thinking as I was doing the silent post show and clicking on all of these, that it'd be really nice if you got little bits of gold from this. Like, you click on these and you get one bit of gold, or maybe one bit of dust, or maybe something, kind of anything and everything. I wouldn't mind if there was a little clicker element where I could just go click, 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 and get bits of gold. This one I'm gonna squelch. Let's go ahead and shoot for a quicker experience. It's possible that I'll run out of steam after an hour or two and get really tired. So, in general, I need to get at least 2 daily quests done and get through all the news. Or at least get through all the news and then do a silent post show. So, we need to start actually talking about something. There is some weirdness about always just talking about what's going on in my life. I don't feel right if people on the chat to ask them what's going on in their lives and have conversations over public venues, and I don't want to release personal information. So, like, in general, I'd like to know what's going on around the world in the gamer sphere as it is, but I'm also kind of a second-hand or third-hand or fourth-hand news reporter, so I kind of generally know what's going on, or at least what the mainstream video game media is talking about. Alright, so let's start covering games. Hopefully the web peak works today. It did work last time. I did check it, but I certainly have created an avenue for mistakes to happen, and that is probably going to consistently be an issue. So we have a game on Steam called The Greater Good. It's a cinematic turn-based RPG created by somebody that I don't recognize. So let's see. This doesn't inherently look that good as an RPG. Now this animation style, I'm not gonna knock and say it's bad. The paper cutout animation style, I think, is a pretty valid one. I kind of feel like I need to zoom out a little bit more, but that's not how I want it. Problem is the gameplay interface seems to not be that good. Particularly all of this in the turn-based RPG. See, they want $9.99, no discount, And let's see if this developer has made anything else. No, they haven't. Let's see. Oh, I could have actually destroyed that guy. Oops. Yeah, The Greater Good's the only game from this developer. I don't see any reason why that would go on the follow list, so we can move on. Let's see, Gematsu has an article, Starwing Paradox first character trailer. Meet Hikari and Reika. Or Reika. I don't know how you'd pronounce that actually. Remember, I'm just trying to play. I'm just trying to play the taunt minions right now. So I'm looking at this trailer, and it's a couple of anime characters. They look like possibly robot girls. Your typical, you know, actually that'd be closer to 90s anime than modern anime. Just because they're not super young looking anime characters, and robots haven't been a big thing for a while. Let's see. Starwing Paradox is due out in Japanese arcades November 21st. So it's an arcade game. Talk about irrelevant. Let's talk about an arcade game that will only ever be available to play in Japan. This. And do this. And that. Then make a turn. I imagine what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to come back and look at my Twitter feed at the end of the stream and open up a lot more things to talk about too. Next we have a game on Steam called Surrogate, which says it's a action driving non-linear sci-fi first-person shooter. What this looks like to me is an asset flip game. It really does. Maybe there's a little bit of polish on the skybox, but that's kind of all this is. What is this? What is he doing? Just holy smite.
How long can this go on? How long can this go on?
Just continuing to play all the taunt cards. One game. So Surrogate is 15% off for $8.49. I'm thoroughly unimpressed by it. Looking at my wish list and doing the wish list cleanup for the end of the year is definitely giving me a small nudge towards being more realistic and being less generous. But I'm also certainly having incidences where I'm slightly more generous for one recording session than I am the next recording session. And I just am not super willing to give games the benefit of the doubt. But that is actually exactly what needs to happen here, particularly looking at this game Surrogate, which is just sounds insanely ambitious to have a car racing game and show scenes in the trailer of the character, of characters walking around and talking, or interacting in anything. There you go.
I will burn this world and rule its ashes.
So we'll attack this. Then end the turn. Yep, closing surrogate. Moving on. Next game on Steam we have is called Beatboxers. It says it's a free-to-play fighting music rhythm multiplayer game. Okay. So there's two robot-looking people that are fighting each other, and it seems like the life bar is on the side, which is an interesting idea for a fighting game, but probably a very bad idea because there are things on the sides of the screen you'd like to see. There's basically nothing at the top of the screen that you'd want to see or need to see. Even if you were playing, doing a lot of juggling and knocking the character up in the air,
Time passes.
the side for each enemy gain 2 armor.
Special armor. Strong and shiny.
Let's
Before me,
this.
I must choose.
And then just end the turn there. So Beatboxers is multiplayer only, so it's not going on the wish list. It's free though, so that's something. I guess maybe if people would really want to play this game and it was majorly adopted, it might be something worth checking out. If you start hearing about people talking about this game, Beatboxers, that might make something. This game is by Brigham Young University Animation Class of 2018. So it's another student project. I'm going to put it on the follow list for that reason. It seems like at this point, Steam schools are publishing their games. The Brigham Young University has managed to let's go ahead and attack here and then do this. Brigham Young also has released a game that's mixed reviews, free to play, called No Back, and a free game called Vanguards. So let's see. There you go. Just gonna end the turn there. So yeah, there's a weird one to put on the follow list. I would only show it for a brief second, I imagine, and try to play it multiplayer. There is something certainly to be concerning about the fact that there are these colleges that have video game programming classes and they don't seem to understand game theory and gameplay development and level design and UI design. Like in this instance, it's UI design that's the problem. There is also a beat function that's falling at the bottom of the screen in the middle of the fights too, so it seems like this is probably a lot like Crypt of the Necrodancer, and you have to follow the beat better than the other player, which to get a hit. So it's very possible in this game you're not even actually pushing any buttons. In order to win, players have to attack the beat of the music. Attack to the beat of the music. The closer you hit the beat, the stronger your attacks. Keep Keep up the rhythm and you outplay your opponent. Yep, is the description there. I seriously doubt people are going to get into this game. It's missing stuff. It also seems like it probably only has 2 characters. Like, and see, that's just a problematic
Nice little raptors.
education program. If this is the graduating class of 2018, they should know a little bit better, and they should make a little bit better of a game. It looks pretty, certainly, but that's not what I expect. Like, I expect a 4th-year video game programmer to spend at least 6 months, if not the entirety of the 4th year, developing a thesis project. And that's kind of not what we see. But just gonna go ahead and play this, and then I think just concede.
Job done.
At this point, because there's no way I'm gonna win. Let's see. Meanwhile, I'm looking at some recommended games that Steam recommended to match that, and they have what looks like a simplistic Korean game called Love Beat. It's only in English though, so I don't know what it is really. So yeah, excuse me. So yeah, Love Beat doesn't look interesting. This and this.
I choose death.
The other game from Brigham Young University is called Nukebok. Let's actually jump into another game. Let's see. I guess I ruined my streak for no reason. Back in an hour. And see, this back in the hour issue might haunt me. I guess I'm nowhere. Like, I can just skip already to the European account. Like, let's just hop into the European account and we'll come back later and see if there's a tavern brawl. Yeah, when I don't have to deal with a tavern brawl, that's an issue. I don't know what Brigham Young University is.
Come in.
Is
The
it?
tavern is booming
It
tonight.
might be the Mormon University, but I might be wrong. So you might have to do some research there. See, and this would be back in 3 hours. So Friday we'll do the tavern brawls more than likely. And of course I want to roll this one. So spells with the paladin or priest here. Let's see, we might not have a lot to do. Odd paladin? Sure. So let's look at Nukebok. It's a free-to-play action sports multiplayer. This was from class of 2017. Doesn't look inherently horrible.
Luther versus Gul'dan.
The fact that it has a bit of a trailer video certainly
I
also
will fight with honor.
shows some slight interest in it. You're playing as these Triceratops, which seems kind of ridiculous. Triceratops in football armor with a gun. Then you land somewhere, and then it's it looks like a lot of that Tuesday Night Football, a little bit of Smash Bros too, where you can knock people off. So you're on a platform, you're shooting people, and when you shoot people they get knocked back. Let's pick some cards here. This doesn't look inherently terrible, but it does certainly lack a logical thought pattern. Why are dinosaurs shooting each other? Why is there an energy bar for some kind of weapon over here, but also an energy bar over here, but also a shield bar here, as best as I can find? And then why is there 3 scores over here, and then a score bar up here, and then why is that space empty? Like, I don't think I'm just nitpicking here. I'm actually trying to be critical of this, and I feel like a good college program should have pointed these things out and taught these things better than that. Like, I know that you don't have $1 million to make your game polished, but I'm not asking for the graphics to look like The Witcher 3. I'm asking for there to be a level of learning, and theoretically a class of 2017 people would have played video games and would have known, and it seems like this is still being supported, which is odd, because I would think what you need to do for any student project on Steam, if you are going to put student projects on Steam, which I guess if we're going to let basically everything on Steam, student projects count too. I would guess though you would just put it out there and not do anything more. Like, this game Knockback is not going to get a lot of people. Let's get the reviews loading up, and let's just see what people who actually played the game have to say, if they're actually loaded. Let's see. Looking for a negative review. Not worth your time. Nice concept. I'm gonna have to filter by negative reviews alone because it got too many positive reviews.
Let me think.
Let's come over here and keep playing too. Come on. Let's see. Every time I load the game, my Oculus Home and Steam VR opens and loads up, so I can't play the game. The game without my VR dev and Oculus booting. Lol, I have no idea why this happens. It isn't a VR game, is it? But yeah, I mean, I can load the game. I've heard that that's a problem in general with the VR headsets. Nice concept, awful optimization, no optimization, no private matches. Fix this. I restarted my PC and opened the product and then got stuck at the main screen during 6 minutes. Let's see.
Access denied.
Like,
The battle.
and to be fair here, before I read this next argument, this next negative review, the people who taught me programming when I was taking programming classes, a lot of them didn't know how to program themselves at all. And a lot of them that did know how to program were particularly old and not specialized in just generic education of programming too, so they weren't teaching as well as they might have been. So yeah, teachers aren't perfect. I want to say this. Now I want to read this next negative review. How to get hired at BAU. Interviewer, do you know what optimization is? You, what the F is optimization? Interviewer, you're hired. I could barely even play this at low settings, 640 by 480. I have an Intel Pentium G4 600 and 4GB RX 550. The min specs are a Core 2 Duo and a GT 520.
Reporting for duty.
Why the F am I not able to play this game above 30 frames per second at those settings? How the F will I will a GT 520 beat my 4 gig 1.2 gigahertz RX 550?
So many possibility.
Let's see.
Unleash me.
Here's one that says, the grass is demolishing your PC because the whole court is covered in grass. It lags so much, and I don't recommend you play this game until it's properly customized it. So it seems like they over optimized grass textures and foliage. And see, there's at least a couple decades of experience in programming video games specifically to handle foliage and grass. And the idea that you would graduate out of college, even a 4-year plan, I'm assuming these are 4-year plans, and this isn't the graduating class at a PhD or master's level, like, you should be teaching that. And looking at the grass, like, if we come back and look at the grass, it's not even good looking grass. It really isn't. So I guess what I'm coming from here is, don't go to BYU if you want to be a video game developer. I'm not 100% sure. I would say go to Digipin, but you know, Digipin probably is one of the best options if you must go to a specialized college for video game programming. Otherwise, I would still hold to the idea of getting a more generic programming degree and then specializing and teaching yourself the way to make video games, because you'll do it a lot better than a college course. Let's see. If I played this, I could have had Divine Shield on this and killed it. I played wrong there. The other game we have on for BYU is, and I'm not really trying to beat up on BYU, it's just they had 3 games. They're the class of 2016, and they made a game called Vanguards, which is a free-to-play strategy MOBA game. Now, I guess I don't want to beat up on them for making a MOBA game, although the argument is pretty valid to say, hey, unless you've got $1 million and you're gonna beat League of Legends or Valve, you shouldn't make a MOBA game because you're chasing after a market that really is already oversaturated. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna play this.
For justice.
Attack here. Do this.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
Keep on attacking. There. This, looking at the few screenshots that this game has, it looks dark. It looks a little simplistic. But it doesn't look awful. It just, again, it feels like a student project more than a fully polished, finished item. Let's see what the reviews have to say. Let's look at the negative reviews on this one. Well, I'm playing over here too.
I don't need any of you. For justice. Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
We have a review that says the game mechanics are great and the idea is there, however I would say is a bit lacking in the competitive department. If the developers go back and redo a few things, they could add so much more to the game and maybe have it become quite popular. What they could add, in my opinion, is maybe some perks or runes that change how the class plays, like cooldown reduction, but less power or more slow on the ice, or overpower, or add more power and projectiles. Adding mechanisms like these will add up fun to the game. Let's, alright.
For justice.
This.
Reporting for duty.
Let's Let's see, before we do this,
Reporting for duty.
this,
For me!
this. This.
The battle!
I must move quickly.
The battle! The battle!
That menu. Give that menu a turn to
Ah,
get
darn
ready.
it. Well, that's as much as I could do. Hey, let's skip the rest of that article, that negative review, because it went on with more details than I cared to skim. Let's see. Next negative review. When I saw this game, I thought I found the successor to Solstice Arena. I was tragically wrong. Vanguard Guards is a disaster in every way. Aesthetics, hope you like blue. Map design, first one half doesn't matter than the other half. Balanced lighting night is for idiots. Progression, there is none. Gameplay, escort missions over who gets the heavy DOT on their base, though the DOT persists until the moment it's brought to the other team, meaning most matches will be lost to bleed out. Additionally, there are no basic attacks, leading to times when one must embarrassingly rub up against an opponent or cage. There's also no tutorial, which have been helpful for explaining the terrible ghost mechanics. All I can say is glad I didn't pay any money for this. Having no tutorial in your game that you're showing off is also a problem.
Reporting for duty.
I must move quickly.
Again, I'm not trying to nitpick here.
For justice.
I'm trying to be helpful and critical, but to be able to graduate from college and your final project or the project that they want to use to represent you didn't even have a tutorial, that's crazy. I would think before you even had somebody make a game, you would have said, why don't you make a tutorial and you explain how your game is going to be played before it even plays. Because in the process of making the tutorial, you'll find that you have to program like the jump mechanic to explain the jump mechanic, or you'll have to program in the shoot mechanic. Don't jump in with like the first thought of development to be the boss fight or the first level. I would, of course, video game development is very rarely linear, and in fact it almost never is, but yeah, the idea that you don't have tutorials is crazy. Moving on though, I'm gonna put all those games on my follow list so that I think I am gonna try and cover student projects more. I'm playing all these cards, but I don't think I'm gonna win. We have a game on Steam called Light Bearers that is from Fat Bomb Studio. Let's see. So Teddy Bears in Light. It's a free-to-play action indie casual game. Let's see. I have no idea. It seems like it's a hide and go seek game of some sort, made by very possible psychopaths suffering from some dark screenshot syndromes. Like, it seems like it's a asynchronous hide and go seek style game, multiplayer only, free to play, although the full game is actually $14.99, and I don't think that we'd run into any reviews. So unless this game was in good standing with or in good company, because it's been developed by somebody who's developed something else, I don't. Let's play the priest. I don't see a reason why that would make it to the follow list. The only other game this developer has made is one called Quantum Lock, which doesn't inherently look that good either. It has 3 reviews and it came out in 2015. So
Anduin versus Garrosh.
I guess what is worse, somebody that's made 2 or 3 games over the course of their company existing, and none of them being successful, or someone who's just made 1 flop. And yeah, that's pretty much how I'm gonna describe Quantum Lock, as a flop. So I'm gonna close that. So can I do anything here? I can play this, but I really don't need to. Next we have a game called Fleet Star 5 from Eric Ferguson. Looks like a space game with some very basic ugly graphics on it, which I don't even want to play space games when they have really good looking graphics on it. I don't know why so many people think they can make these space resources, these space strategy games. Like, I understand that there are a few that are very, very well received, but again, I think that field is flooded. They want $5.39 discounted for this game. No, thank you. See if this developer's made anything else. No, they haven't. Give me just a good old-fashioned first-person shooter, honestly. If you're gonna make a low-effort game, just make it a first-person shooter. Just make it an asset flip. Don't try to break into fields that literally don't exist. Unless you can make something unique and different, and if you had a thought in your head that was unique and different, you probably wouldn't be making something that was a low-effort game in the first place. Am I holding a dragon? Not right now. I could kill that guy, or I could wait. I think I'll wait. Gematsu has an article. Kickstarter campaign launched for semi-cyberpunk tactical RPG called Midnight Wave. We're starting to see more kickstarting games catch the attention of a more Japanese audience, although in this instance it is the Florida-based developer Walt Hall Studios that launched the campaign for Midnight Wave. Let's see if it says when it's supposed to come out.
I wonder.
Let's see. How are we gonna do this? Not holding a dragon. I could give him lifesteal. Here. I could do this. I could attack here. Then in return, says it's planned to be released on PC and Mac in Q4 of 2019. They want 47,000 about in US dollars. The game will feature an all-star cast of voice acting talents with credits in The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Final Fantasy, Kingdom Hearts, Street Fighter, Nier, Dragon Ball, Persona, and My Hero Academia, and more. I wonder if that's just like one voice actor who happens to have some role in all of those games. Okay.
Bring the pain.
Let's see. I think I've got this. Let's look at this. I'll look at the trailer here and see if there's something that's slightly interesting in this game. It's going for a pixel art style in the trailer, which looks fine because the trailer is a cutscene and you're zoomed in really close, but now that it's showing me bits of what they think gameplay is, it's a top-down tactical placement RPG game that seems like at some points also has some side-scrolling platforming fighting sections. It's actually rather odd looking because I don't really have a great feel for what is going on here. Attack equals health. I'll take that.
Right away.
Do this. And then in the turn. This is gonna be a one-turn kill. But we'll just do this. Well played.
Well played.
Ah, darn you. That was like the one card. The
Nice little
one thing he could have done. So this game Midnight Wave, like so many other Kickstarters, doesn't really matter to me. Like maybe it'll be a great thing, maybe it won't. Let's see, 3 damage to all other minions. Do this. Do this. This. And this. And then what are we gonna do? Two, summon a 1/1 copy of it. Double the minion health. Double up health. Change the attack. And do 20. And go ahead and play this while we're at it. Moving on, Gematsu has an article. Guilty changes name to Kayak Akiba Studio. That is Guilty, G-U-L-T-I. Is changing its name to K-A-Y-A-C Akiba, A-K-I-B-A Studio. This is the studio behind RX in Rajan and other shoot 'em ups that I would not recognize, so yeah. Let's see. Seems like there's really nothing else to say here. A small-time Japanese company changed their name. Usually Gematsu doesn't even bother to mention things like that. At least I haven't seen them do it before. Just play another one of those. See, I could play these, but I don't want to. Next, we have a game on Steam called I'm an Adventurer. This looks like a cheap Chinese cell phone port or just low-effort game in general. English simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese. No surprise there. $2.99. Don't really have to go any further for that. There's been no announcement or change of policy as far as games being approved in China, at least as far as I've heard. I think I need to get something else out here, but I can't play this now anyway, so I'll have to just wait another turn. Man, we got bad game after bad game today. Next game we have on Steam is Animal Memory Horses, which is, I assume, just a tile flipping game where you have to match the two things. Super simplistic cell phone port. Even if this was a cell phone port of a game, it'd still be a horribly cheap cell phone game. Like, you just don't really see these. At least I don't see them. And I could fall back to calling it a one-screen Unity game. They want 69 cents discounted for the game. No big surprise there. Oh man, they silenced my guy. I hate him. Let's do this.
Bring pain.
So we can play this to swap the health and attack next turn. So of course, Animal Memory Horses is not coming to the follow list. Gamatsu must just be covering Kickstarters now. Must be a new decision. Because they have another article, Hazelnut Bastille Kickstarter campaign launch. This looks like a RPG game, maybe made by RPG Maker, maybe not. It's from Aloft Studios. They want a $110,000 stretch goal for Switch version and an unannounced stretch goal for the PlayStation 4 version. The minimum they're willing to take is $65,000, so there's quite a lot of money.
Meddlesome insects.
Play that.
Meddlesome
Play
insects.
that.
What is my purpose?
Play that. In the turn. Does this game have a trailer too? Seems like I probably have. I'm in a weird position here today. I'm gonna get all the daily quests done on Hearthstone and also all the news done. To be fair, Hazelnut Bastille actually looks like a Legend of Zelda style game, or perhaps the Game Boy Zelda games, Four Swords style of game. It looks good. It doesn't look that bad. And it really doesn't look like an RPG Maker game. But this is just a Kickstarter, so what can I do with that? That's literally unactionable information for me because I'm never going to support or suggest people support a Kickstarter game. This will be our last game for this recording, by the way. Gamer Sutra has an article. Get a Job Weaver, that's W-E-V-R, is hiring a senior designer / scripter. So that job is in Venice, California. I'm glad I don't really go into any more detail on the job listings because, well, it would just probably be a waste of time. Alright. Attack and health won't do anything. All I can do here is this, and then this. And that's about all I can do. Gamer Sutra has an article, Warhammer Vermintide developers acquire A-Suite Studio AB. A-Suite Studios catalog will include games like Flower Pop Adventures, Scalpers, Turtles, and the Moonshine Game, One Final Chaos, and Candy Bandit. Now they are all owned by Fat Shark, the Warhammer Vermintide developers. None of those games sound familiar. So that's almost certainly an acqui-hire, where they were just hiring employees that way, through that process. Let's see.
Play with fire.
think I'm trying to get a win right now, and I'm not succeeding very well. Well, I could just be trying to play spell cards. If that's the case, I'm making great progress. Komatsu has an article, level 5 Yushiro moved from PSP to Switch, but development has not begun. Looks like Yushiro is a game where you are playing a person who's either being haunted by a ghost or ghosts, or you're playing as the ghost. Apparently, Yushiro is a spirit horror RPG first announced for the PSP in 2008. So you're talking 10 years ago this game was announced, and it just was never officially cancelled, so it technically was still in development, but also development has not started, so somebody just thought that was a cool idea, did some quick, I'm looking at a screenshot of a game, or at least a section of a game, so that's weird. Apparently the company's 20th anniversary title will be a big title on the same scale as an MMORPG. It's another point to take here. I don't know what you take away from this though. Is if there's a game that was announced 10 years ago and still is in development, that is the Japanese equivalent of a Duke Nukem Forever game. Like there's not any reason why any sane person should put any faith in that game coming out. I listened to a really long review talking about Final Fantasy 15 and just how long that was in development and how it was a mediocre disappointment. I think that was the name of the video actually. And yeah, it does seem like Final Fantasy 15 was probably in development hell because of just artists and developers of the games being too flippant. Like, I'm all for supporting artists to create their art, but also at a certain point some artists need to just submit their ideas and let the game developers develop a game. So it's been about an hour and 10 minutes. I need to cast some more spells. It'd be nice if I win 3 games with the Paladin Priest, but not 100% necessary. And then we move over to the Asian account, and then I think we jump back to the Americas account and play Tavern Balls if we still have news to talk about. And I guess maybe I do have more news than I think. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.